In the shadow of Putin's bold invasion of Ukraine, he clung to a vision of cowing Europe and fracturing NATO's unity. Yet his calculations fixated solely on cold maps and tank counts. Did he truly underestimate the fiery soul of Poland? When he loomed at its borders, expecting a brittle male-dominated force, Poland's silent evolution shattered his expectations. Over a decade, it wove strength into every echelon of its army, even the fiercest frontline roles. Women surged forward, their presence exploding in educational halls and combat lines. Over 21,000 female warriors now formed the heart of a new power dynamic, donning uniforms unchanged in hue but reborn in spirit. These trailblazers shouldered genuine battle duties across nearly 170 specialties, from fighter jets to cyber vaults. This seismic shift dismantles Russia's outdated playbook, forged in the furnace of a male-centric lens. In Devolin, a young female lieutenant slips into the cockpit, her voice steady as she rattles off checklists amid the engine's gurgling roar and rising heat. In Torin, coordinates flash into a KRAB howitzer's firing computer, the metallic tang of ozone clinging to the air. In Mozavia, the IBCS screen pulses, changing the Patriot PAC-3 MSE to yellow alert, a silent hum vibrating through the stuffy command room. In Padlasia, a WOT team hurls the FlyEye reconnaissance UAV into the wind's fierce grip. Did this hidden depth blindside Vladimir more than any weapon? Previously, Putin's miscalculation hinged on maps and tanks. Overlooking Poland's indomitable spirit and the emergence of over 21,000 female soldiers reshaping its army. Can you imagine the shock? As the F-16 temperatures climb, the KRAB aims, the Patriot activates, and the UAV soars against turbulent gales. Poland's ambitions, boosting defense to over 4% of GDP and army to 300,000, doubled its workforce through genuine integration. This isn't mere tokenism. It's a tangible overhaul transforming tactics. Women dominate land, sea, air readiness against Russian threats. Starting on land, where defense prowess truly grounds itself. Female tankers command Leopard 2A5/2PL, M1A1FE, phasing M1A2 SCPV3, and K2 Black Panther turrets. No empty seats here. The gunner puzzles ballistic arcs at the firing table, fingers tracing cold metal. The loader adjusts rhythms in the turret's clatter. The commander peers through laser rangefinders and thermal screens, sweat beading on skin. Post-shot, scores match gunnery ideals. Female non-commissioned officers lead Rosomak 8x8 and new ZMA vehicle teams, unleashing Spike LR2 and Javelin anti-armor chains. When enemy tanks creep into range, portable missiles sync with artillery barrages in a deafening crescendo. Stress drills sharpen split-second resolve. In artillery, Krab 155mm and RAK 120mm link to Topaz networks under female fire directors. Mini UAV wielders and observer squads relay coordinates, slashing response times to mere seconds. Muscle? Outsourced to hydraulics. But the chain's precision thrives on trained synergy. And what if Russia's drone swarms descend next? The tension builds. Earlier, female soldiers infiltrated every combat facet, outsmarting Putin's narrow gaze. They command tanks like Leopard platforms, synchronize anti-armor strikes, and orchestrate artillery with blinding accuracy. How vulnerable is Russia's air defense nightmare now? Polish females in Patriot PAC-3 MSE meld high and medium layer defenses under IBCS. Cameras awaken for low-flying drone hurricanes, reserving Patriots for cruise threats. Error-free networks operated by female handlers fill gaps with FlyEye and Bayraktar TB2 drones. Low-altitude voids close through aviation nods. Transforming the Dublin Aviation Academy into a female pilot forge, they simulate BVR radar tactics and CAS in M346 AJT jets. Female pilots slice through F-16CD squadrons, eyeing F-35A shifts. Electronic jamming harmonizes with NATO allies, unfettered by gender debates. Female controllers man air traffic and GCI desks, upholding radar vigilance. Diverse roles span special ops to cyber realms. In 6th Airborne and 25th Cavalry Brigades, paratroopers meet grueling standards, equipment weights crushing shoulders. Functional cuts ensure peak performers lead, others adapt. Equality demands parity in standards, not jobs. Cyber clusters jam and counter electromagnetic waves, adapting from Ukraine's chaos. Medical lines deploy tourniquets, decompressions, and evac via Blackhawk links. Personnel resilience doubles Poland's defenses, morale fuses society, deterrence bewilders Moscow's fixed views. Allies forge seamless TTPs in NATO drills. Russian women serve reactively in support niches, lacking Poland's NCO depth. Will this reversal humiliate Putin's army? Recapping Poland's female-driven revolution in tanks, artillery, air defense, and beyond, it cripples Russia's male-only assumptions. Diverse roles from special forces to medevacs bolster resilience and solitude. Is Putin awake to this shattering twist yet? Against reactive Russian integrations in drones and logistics, Poland's structural female command excels. NCO culture ensures authority, unlike Russia's ad hoc shifts. Mobilization bends resilience, alliances pre-crisis unify. Putin's doorstep gamble falters. What hidden feminist storm could topple his empire? The reality hits hard. Imagine the roar of engines synchronizing across the skies. Coordinates punching into the firing system of a KRAB self-propelled howitzer. In Mozavia, the engagement authority flicking from red to yellow on the IBCS screen of a Patriot PAC-3 MSE battery. And in Podlasia, a WOT team unleashing a fly-eye reconnaissance UAV, its wings curving defiantly against the biting wind. How did Poland unleash such a transformative force, one that could shatter Putin's old-world calculations? This intricate web of operations hummed in unison, fueled by Poland's bold pledge to hike defense spending beyond 4% of GDP over a decade, expanding the army to 300,000 troops. Yet, beneath that pledge lay a deeper revolution, an integration that doubled their personnel pool with women's full embrace in combat roles. No longer mere symbols, these changes reshaped operational plans, infusing raw strength into the heart of Poland's defenses. In this vibrant new era, women commanded pivotal roles across land, sea, and air, preparing relentlessly for any Russian shadow looming on the horizon. Picture boots crunching through frost-kissed ground. Deterrence pulsed strongest on these terrestrial battlefields. Polish female tankers gripped controls in Leopard 2A5/2PL tanks, the freshly unveiled M1A1FE models, and the phasing-in M1A2 SEP3 variants, alongside the fierce K2 Black Panther turrets. There were no empty gestures here, real hands, gunners plotting ballistic trajectories at the firing table, loaders sinking rhythms in the turret's heat. Commanders slicing through detection fog with laser rangefinders and thermal cameras, locked in harmony. After every thunderous shot, their prowess echoed in gunnery table comparisons, a chilling audit of skill against expectation. Polish female non-commissioned officers, their voices steady amid the chaos of mechanized units, led squads on Rosomak 8x8 armored vehicles and cutting-edge ZMA platforms. They flung open anti-armor opportunities for infantry teams, chaining Spike LR2 and Javelin supplies into a lethal dance. When enemy tanks dared creep into range, portable weapons flared in perfect sync with artillery barrages, explosions ripping through the air like claws tearing at steel. In training, stress coiled deliberately tighter, forging split-second decisions that could save lives, or end them. How thin is the line between victory and defeat in those heart-pounding instants? Craving those pulses of adrenaline? Wait till you hear how Poland's female fire control officers wielded their power in the artillery trenches. In the heavy air of artillery lines, 155mm Krab systems and 120mm RAK setups linked flawlessly to the Topaz fire control network. The smoke of gunpowder clung to uniforms as coordinates slipped from mini UAVs operated by Polish female non-commissioned officers in forward observation posts, slashing the target lock cycle to mere seconds. Physical might? Irrelevant, precision and speed reigned supreme, with hydraulics and drilled teamwork hoisting shells into place. What unseen edge does this grant against an aggressor's horde, poised to strike from the mist? Polish female fire control officers link Krab 155mm and RAK 120mm systems to the Topaz network in artillery units. They handle rapid target coordinates with speed and precision, not brute force. Hydraulics do the heavy lifting. Did you know Poland's skies are now guarded by women who command the same tech Russia underestimated? Feel the chill in the air as engines roar and screens flicker with deadly accuracy. Can their unshakable focus humiliate Putin's drone swarms before they strike? Imagine tactical control officers in Patriot PAC-3 MSE batteries merging high and medium altitude screens under IBCS. Polish women blend Patriot and NARAM airways into one unified threat view. When enemy drones buzz at low levels, cameras snap to life, and Patriots prioritize cruise missiles with no room for mistakes. The scent of ozone from distant explosions lingers. Is this the hidden edge that crushes Russia's aerial arrogance? Tensions rise as a network of Polish female operators, piloting Fly-Eye UAVs and Bayraktar TB2 drones, bridges gaps with civilian air traffic. Watch them close low-altitude vulnerabilities with flawless communication. And what if this seamless integration forces Moscow to rethink every map-drawn plan? The plot thickens when Dell'An Aviation Academy churns out female pilots like a high-stakes assembly line. Radar BVR tactics clang in the cockpit, smell the adrenaline of CAS briefings on M346 AJT simulators. Polish women fly F-16CD fighters now, eyes locked on mission profiles, not gender. Even without a growler, their electronic jamming sinks NATO allies to chaos. Touch the control rods as female officers at air traffic and GCI desks safeguard the sky picture. Their presence whispers unseen power. Could this diversity shatter Russia's rigid tactics in a war of wits? Suddenly, a lone MiG-31 freeze frames in the crosshairs. What shocking twist awaits when Polish air power collides with frozen ambitions? The involvement of Polish female soldiers spans a vast array of roles, from elite special forces to light infantry. In both the 6th Airborne Brigade and the 25th Air Cavalry Brigade, female paratroopers have met rigorous jumping standards. What sets this apart is the philosophy of functional capability. Only those who meet physical standards remain in their roles, others adapt to different tasks. Thus, equality does not imply a one-size-fits-all approach, rather, it rewards those who compete at the same level. In the realm of electronic warfare, these women are actively engaged in jamming and counter-jamming operations, managing the electromagnetic spectrum. They continually enhance their skills based on lessons learned from the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, adapting to new tactics, particularly as adversaries modify their GNSS spoofing methods. In the cyber defense domain, female engineers work tirelessly, performing critical roles in Red-Blue Team exercises, ensuring the cybersecurity of vital infrastructure. Their presence fortifies the nation's multi-layered defense strategy. Additionally, in the medical chain, female combat medics execute life-saving trauma protocols in real-time scenarios, applying tourniquets, performing needle decompression, managing hemorrhages, and adhering to mass casualty procedures. They operate seamlessly alongside Black Hawk medevac teams, providing quick responses where every second counts. So, how does this formidable military presence empower Poland against potential Russian aggression? The key lies in personnel resilience. Each crisis reveals the grit of the troops. Their ability to handle pressure, maintain rotation cycles, and sustain training is paramount. By fully integrating women across all facets of the military, Poland has effectively doubled its operational capacity. Consequently, sending additional brigades to the front does not stretch vital resources thin back home. Trained professionals are always prepared to fill those gaps. But there's more. The integration of women has reshaped both military doctrine and morale. In contemporary warfare, it's not about isolated heroics but rather the consistent, collaborative efforts of well-trained, well-equipped, and well-commanded individuals. When female soldiers become a norm in this setting, society begins to shift its perception, embracing the philosophy that war isn't solely someone else's responsibility, it's a shared obligation. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the stark contrast between Poland's progressive military integration and the outdated representations of women in the Russian army. The question arises, who truly holds the tactical advantage on the battlefield? As we begin this new part, let's examine the reality of women's roles in the Russian military. Despite being deemed controversial for years, the integration of female personnel has seen recent changes, especially in support roles. Following the onset of conflict, the influx of female volunteers and contracted soldiers became apparent, with their visibility expanding in unmanned operations, reconnaissance, logistics, and medical services. Yet, beneath these developments lies a stark disparity. So how does women's participation in the Russian army compare to their Polish counterparts? Stay tuned to uncover the shocking truths that define these two national forces. The integration of women into Poland's military has significantly increased its capacity, allowing for a more robust defense without depleting essential resources. This transformation ensures that deploying additional forces doesn't undermine national security, as trained personnel stand ready to step in. Moreover, this shift fosters a sense of shared responsibility within society, where defense becomes a collective commitment rather than the duty of a few. Modern military campaigns hinge on teams of skilled, well-equipped soldiers rather than individual heroics. In Poland, female soldiers are not merely an addition, they represent a crucial component of the military's effectiveness. This generates a shifting narrative around defense, changing societal perceptions of conflict and duty. When adversaries like Moscow view Poland as relying solely on a traditional male force, they underestimate the reality. A capable unit enriched by female commitment now stands ready. This flexibility in mobilization presents a new challenge for opponents. Integration with NATO ensures that Polish women serving alongside international counterparts speak the same operational language. The result? Faster, more instinctive responses during crises, built on familiarity and shared training experiences. Now, let's consider the other side of the coin, the status of women in the Russian military. In contrast to Poland's systematic integration of female personnel, the Russian approach appears more reactive. While there are roles for women in logistics, reconnaissance, and medical support, much of their inclusion reflects a scramble to address manpower shortages since the onset of conflict. Reports indicate that women are beginning to find roles in previously male-dominated sectors like artillery and sniper units, yet these roles lack the structured support found in NATO systems. Thus, while Russian female soldiers are stepping into various positions, their experiences are shaped by an ad hoc integration process, significantly distinct from the cohesive training and development support their Polish counterparts receive. In the heat of battle, who truly has the upper hand? The answer hinges on more than just numbers. It's about preparation, integration, and the ability to operate under pressure. As tensions rise, what will this contrasting landscape mean for the future of these two military forces? The stakes are high, and the outcome could redefine the balance of power in unforeseen ways. When war beckons, who rises to answer the call? In the shadows of military strategy, a fierce transformation unfolds in Poland, where national resilience meets modern warfare. Today, we unravel the untold story of female soldiers stepping boldly into the forefront of their nation's defense, weaving a new fabric of strength that challenges age-old perceptions. As Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine, many believed this would weaken European resolve. Yet, amid the tumult, Poland stood as a bastion of national spirit, armed with an unexpected secret. In recent years, Polish forces evolved dramatically, incorporating a new wave of combat talent, over 21,000 skilled female soldiers. These women are not just participants, they are leaders and warriors, contributing to a defense strategy that rivals traditional male-dominated armies. What would you do if your enemy misjudged your strength? When the Russian forces taunted with their drones and fighter jets, they underestimated the might of Poland's renewed military force. In the cockpit of an F-16, a young female lieutenant calls out each checklist with a steady voice, her adrenaline mixing with the rising engine's roar. In another part of Poland, specialist teams coordinate missile strikes with precision, their hearts racing in the face of virtual battlefields. But what truly sets these women apart? They are well-trained, equipped with cutting-edge technology like the Leopard 2A5 tank and Patriot missile systems. More than just tools of war, their combat capabilities merge physical skill with strategic acumen, making them indispensable. The air is thick with anticipation as their unit operates seamlessly, exchanging data in real time while they maintain a decidedly fierce focus. While Poland surges ahead, what about their counterpart in Russia? For years, female participation in the Russian military was a vague concept, often relegated to support roles, limited in scope and ambition. Reports hint at female engagement in unmanned systems and logistics, and yet, morale wavers in the face of counterproductive command structures. Facing an uphill battle, these women find themselves fighting against not only an enemy in combat but also a restrictive hierarchy that limits their operational potential. As the air thickens with the tension of an impending clash, the stark contrast between the two nations emerges. In Poland, every woman knows her role with clarity and purpose. In Russia, uncertainty looms like a fog. Who really holds the edge when it comes to training, resources, and operational coherence? In a realm often dominated by males, one revelation remains clear: in battles of the heart, womanhood now stands resolute on both sides of the conflict. Is it the emotion, the advancement in technology, or the psychological battle that will tip the scales? As both armies brace for the ultimate showdown, the real question that remains can only be answered on the battlefield: loyalty to command, effectiveness in combat roles, and the quest for recognition entwine in a narrative that has yet to be fully written. In this new chapter, the battlefield awaits, ready to illuminate the strength of those who dare to defy expectations. Will Poland's strides in gender integration prove pivotal in a time of crisis? Or will the shadows of outdated practices in Russia stifle the potential of their female warriors? As the drums of war beat ever louder, the world watches with bated breath. The truth of this confrontation stretches far beyond the surface, into the very heart of resilience, identity, and the relentless spirit of women in arms. When Putin initiated his invasion of Ukraine, he thought intimidation would easily fracture Europe, weaken NATO, and extend Russia's dominance. Armed with maps and tanks, he disregarded the resilient spirit of nations like Poland, Romania, and Denmark while sending drones and fighter jets to threaten these countries. Yet, he underestimated Poland's resolve and transformation. What he expected to find was a traditional army, but in reality, Poland had metamorphosed its military capabilities over the last decade. The Polish military now boasts a robust force of over 21,000 female soldiers, strategically trained to execute diverse combat roles. While the uniform might not have changed, the mindset undoubtedly has. These fierce women are equipped for real combat across nearly 170 specializations, from piloting aircraft to commanding tanks, and managing cyber warfare operations. Picture a young female lieutenant in the cockpit of an F-16, her voice steady as she reads through a checklist, the engine temperature sizzling beneath her. In another location, a crab howitzer is ready to unleash its might, and a drone is launched into the skies against the wind, all interconnected. Poland's defense is now enhanced by a planned increase in defense spending, aimed at 4% of GDP, solidifying its military strength to 300,000 troops, all while fully integrating women into their ranks. As we turn to land forces, female tankers serve in advanced models like the Leopard 2A5 and the incoming M1A2. In the heart of battle maneuvers, the gunner's focus is intense, calculating ballistic paths. Supported by an entire team coordinating efforts toward a common goal. Stressful training boosts their decision-making in high-pressure scenarios, ensuring they remain sharp. In air defense, the shift is striking. Tactical control officers work seamlessly to manage aerial threats, combining high and medium altitude capabilities into a unified battle space. Their communication and coordination with NATO partners create a formidable force against potential incursions from the skies. Now, let's delve into the unexpected. What about the Russian side? In contrast, their integration of female soldiers remains piecemeal and reactive, a meager response to manpower strife. There's no cohesive structure like Poland's NATO-aligned training, leaving the Russian forces fragmented in command and morale. This raises an intriguing question: who truly holds the advantage in this conflict, the organized, modern Polish structure or the sporadic and outdated Russian force? More than just numbers, it's about strategy and readiness. The Suwalki Corridor, crucial to NATO's defense strategy, highlights how Poland's female personnel can turn the tide. Their roles in air defense and UAV reconnaissance could thwart an enemy advance from the outset, disrupting coordinated assaults before they even begin. As we explore the contrasts between the two forces, it becomes clear that the gender of the soldiers is less important than the systems they support. Russia is grappling with an aging combat load that lacks the technological edge Poland now possesses. The modern battlefield today challenges old perceptions. And with Poland's formidable female force, the stakes have never been higher. In a world shaped by conflict, the integration of women into all capacities of combat creates not just a shift in military dynamics but an evolution of strength and resilience. Poland stands firm as a formidable sentinel, ready to face potential threats with an army that truly reflects its society's will to defend and protect. Will Russia find a way to adapt, or will Poland's resolve shine through as the defining factor amidst chaos? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, the future of warfare is changing, and women are now central to this narrative of defense and duty. Imagine a world where behind enemy lines, the hum of engines blends with the click of targeting systems, and the air crackles with unseen threats. What if Russia only saw tanks on maps, but Poland silently built an invisible fortress of strength? In Poland's skies, female pilots in F-16s adjust controls, feeling the vibration of jet thrusters. Their voices crackle over radios, coordinating with allies. Earlier, we saw how Polish women shattered old norms, stepping into every role. From tanks to cyber defense, their presence mocked Russia's outdated view. Now, turning to logistics, the unsung backbone of war. Who would have believed that victory hinges on the quiet beat of supply lines, not just battlefield roars? The stench of diesel fuel mixes with the sharp tang of machine oil. Fingers glide over screens, plotting routes that turn chaos into order. Polish female logistics officers orchestrate convoys, balancing ammunition, fuel, and spares. In warehouses networked for precision, they slash delivery times to minutes. This isn't mere support, it's the lifeline pulsing through hot zones. During a crisis, this means battalions stay fierce, never starved of resources. Feels like touching a live wire of dependability. What if Russia's envy boiled over into reckless moves? On railways, female planners enforce NATO standards, snapping loading chains tight. Imagine hearing the heavy clang of tank cars coupling, safety locks clicking into place. Trains shift battalions like ghosts across landscapes. In hours, armored units appear, surprising foes. This domestic strength humbles Russian forces, stuck in improvisation. Smell the smoke of engines revving, tires biting dirt. How does one maintain machines that devour battlefields? Female engineers tackle repairs, from switching Leopard 2 power packs to fixing Patriot launchers. Their hands, smeared in grease, wield tools with unwavering focus. They are the guardians restoring might from malfunction. Touch the cold metal of a launcher, now humming back to life. This army integrating power isn't just front row, it fuels the entire engine. Ever wondered how organization trumps brute force? Here, women embody that edge. But what happens when Moscow stares at this mirror of Polish prowess? The question burns, will Russia adapt or crumble under humiliation? Even if they broaden roles for women, can they match without overhauling their rigid chains of command? NCOs lacking initiative, training frayed by shortages. It's like fighting shadows with loose fists. Poland's edge lies in seamless integration, where female soldiers symbolize and drive efficiency. Why boast when actions speak? This cohesion predicts the long-game victor, shaming reactive tactics. Could asymmetric chaos derail it all? Russia might probe weaknesses, flooding borders with drones and threats. Yet Poland's updated defenses, run by skilled women, stand firm. Imagine radar blips multiplying, voices barking commands. Two worlds collide, one reactive, one proactive. The twist? Poland's quiet revolution exposes Russia's vulnerabilities. Sensory overload of signals jamming. But Poland warriors crisp through the noise. In the end, which army feels the weight of real strength shifting? As Polish women expand logistics and repair, they weave a net Russia can't easily untangle. The air thick with exhaust, engines roaring, but behind it, a quiet confidence. Will this lead to an unexpected standoff, where perceived power crumbles? Feel the tension rising. Yes, the outcome seems inevitable, but the next move could shock us all. Even in battle, equality prevails, regardless of gender. Poland's defense strategy thrives on constant updates, especially through units rich in diverse talents. Ultimately, when one nation tackles challenges piecemeal while another forges seamless alliances, the outcome tilts unmistakably in favor of the bold. Avoiding the illusion of mere cosmetics, women must shine in core roles, shaping fates from inside command centers. Though progress marches forward today, securing it demands an unbroken lineage of guidance and growth. Imagine a world where Vladimir Putin thought he could conquer with steel alone, only to slam into an unbreakable wall of Polish resolve. What if I told you Poland's secret weapon isn't just metal tanks or roaring jets, it's the fierce heartbeat of women warriors reshaping war? Picture this: under Poland's cold night sky, a young female pilot grips the controls of an F-16, her breath steady as the engine hums like a predator waking. She recalls training days back at the academy, the sharp sting of rain on her skin during drills, the earthy scent of fresh grass underfoot as she pushed through exhaustion to earn her wings. That memory fuels her now, as radar blips dance on the screen, signaling threats from afar. But dive deeper. Society's acceptance was the unsung hero here. Polish women in uniform weren't overnight phenomena, they emerged from quiet revolution, breaking barriers with careers seen, felt, and followed. Bridges forged between universities and battalions, like the pathways from Dublin cockpits to Gdynia harbors and Tauron ranges, guided a new generation. Vibrant female officers, fresh from war studies programs, bridged minds, translating lofty theory into gritty battlefield decisions. Policies that ease family life and uniforms tailored to every curve boosted retention, ensuring seasoned pros stayed put. As old myths crumbled, defense's credibility soared in homes across Poland. In these tense border times, that unity felt priceless. Yet this mixing of strengths amplified power starkly, but we can't ignore the shadows. Rapid growth demanded rapid training expansions to dodge shallow illusions, where numbers dazzle but depth evaporates. Zero tolerance for prejudice must pierce actions, not just laws. Complaint channels must roar to life, slapping penalties on violators. Equipment fit mattered too, helmets pinching wrong, armor chafing unfairly, could spell disaster amid chaos. Poland paced itself well lately, but scaling up meant racing to supply gear that matched every warrior's form. Who would have predicted this twist, where Putin's macho assumptions crumbled against Poland's diverse army? Tune in next as we uncover the real edge tipping the scales. Will Russia's patchwork defenses falter before Poland's unbeatable integration? The air thickens with tension, engines whine in the distance. Poland stands as a beacon of transformation, recognizing the importance of female soldiers in its military landscape. The emphasis is on genuine representation, not merely filling quotas. Women in combat roles and decision-making positions are not just a statistic, they embody strength and readiness. This shift is not just about numbers, it signals a crucial change in societal perception. As Poland continues to integrate women into every facet of military life, mentorship and leadership programs are vital. A robust framework supports these women, ensuring they are not just present but actively contributing at all levels. This cohesive approach strengthens Poland's defense strategy, rendering outdated Russian tactics ineffective. The message is clear and powerful. Poland is not just prepared, it relies on the collective strength of its society. This readiness extends beyond the military itself, encompassing the spirit of the entire nation. By showcasing a capable, skilled, and diverse armed forces, Poland sends a resolute signal to adversaries: this is a united front, ready and resilient. As we consider the synergy between gender integration and military effectiveness, one critical question arises: can an evolving military landscape truly deter an aggressor? In a world where threats are ever present, Poland's answer is a resounding yes. The presence of women in structural roles enhances overall capability and fosters an environment of resilience, essential in turbulent times. The fight for equality within the armed forces is not just a military concern but a societal drive. Changing perspectives on defense and duty. Now, as we delve deeper into this dynamic, can we ignore the looming shadows cast by those who still vie for dominance? The next unfolding chapter might reveal surprising truths about the balance of power on the battlefield. Who stands equipped to adapt to the swift currents of war? The stage is set for a confrontation where perceptions and reality collide, and Poland's unprecedented integration of female soldiers could tilt the scales.